Hey guys, it's Glenn from glenscarcollection.com, and our top 10 cars of the year continue today with number 6, the Porsche 992 Turbo S. If you missed cars 10, 9, and 8, browse the channel. I posted them within the last week. And remember, 3 videos a week from now until the end of the year, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. So hit the subscribe button, notification bell, so you don't miss the top 10 car videos. We reviewed over 100 cars, and these are my top 10. And the winner, number 1, will be announced Friday, December 30th. Thanks for watching. Hey guys, it's Glenn from glenscarcollection.com, and that's the exhaust you hear in the Sport Plus. Hopefully it goes through on the microphone here. And if you follow the channel, you'll know that my favorite car that I drove in 2021, and we've drove every Ferrari last year, every McLaren, every Lamborghini, every R8. My favorite car was the 992 Turbo, not even the Turbo S. So today we're driving the 992 Turbo S. And it's a PDK only, which is a brilliant transmission. We're going to drive it in manual mode. I'm not that impressed with the PDK in auto mode just because it upshifts too much. Now, I did put it in Sport Plus. So you know what? Let's take it out of manual mode. You press the button here to do manual. And now we're driving in Sport Plus, so it should hold us in gear. Yeah, that definitely makes the difference there because we'd be in 7th gear already at 38 miles an hour if I left it in comfort mode. Now, for some reason, our rear wing is already up. Like my car, or all the 911s I've owned, except for my 993 Turbo, which had a fixed wing, typically the wing doesn't come up till you hit like 75 miles an hour. So I did one acceleration. I know I got nowhere near that. So the wing is up, but it looks cool in my rearview mirror. Now, I just think this is not going to obviously turn any heads. It's a 911, and nobody knows the difference whether you bought the general public has no idea whether you bought a base or a Turbo S. So you can certainly save the money and just get a base model like I did with my 2017, which is a 991.2. Let's accelerate here. So just the torque of this car is just amazing. Just the dig. Like, I love turbo 911. So I love naturally aspirated cars. One of my favorite Porsches I've ever owned was my 993 Turbo. And one of my other favorite Porsches I ever owned was a Cayman S, the first gen Cayman S, where I could kind of wring out that engine. So I do prefer naturally aspirated engines. I'm an E46 M3, S2000, NSX, all those cars. But on the 911s, I don't know. I think I like the turbos better. They're just so much faster, and I just love that turbo shove. All right, so we're coming up with some turns here. We're going to go through these S turns, then we'll pull over, go over the interior and exterior of the car, and then we'll take some really cool driving roads. So remember to watch this whole video. Remember to like, share, and subscribe. I'm just about 16,000 subscribers. Get me to 20,000 subscribers, and we could get all these cool cars to review. All right, so first thing you'll notice on the 911, besides that incredible turbo power, is there really is no body roll. Now, this car is a Turbo S, so the difference between the Turbo S and turbos is typically about 50 more horsepower. Wow, it's wet. We lost some traction there. That was fun. Typically has about 50 more horsepower than the turbo, significantly more expensive, and you get carbon ceramic brakes as standard. I believe the full leather is standard as well as all the, and then some performance stuff. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, but I'm pretty sure the full leather is included. What's great about the turbos, and even my 993 Turbo was the first one, is the turbos are all-wheel drive since model year 1996. And I'm telling you, my favorite cars, modern cars that I love, have to be these 992 turbos, whether you get the Turbo or Turbo S. Now, I drove the other one probably 6 months ago in the fall or something like that. So right now, I don't notice a huge difference between the two, maybe to justify the price. But if you want the ultimate 911, I'm going to tell you right now, you certainly want the Turbo S. What's great about these cars is they're super comfortable and they're super reliable. So yeah, nobody will even notice you with your car at Cars and Coffee in a black Turbo or Turbo S. They'll notice the bright colored McLaren, the yellow Aventador we drove, the orange McLaren, the red Ferraris, the silver G-Wagons, but they're not going to notice this car at all. So you could kind of almost go as fast as you want and not garner any attention. And in the color black, it kind of just fades in. And I think, you know, they say the average 911 buyer, and I can't imagine the average Turbo S buyer, but the average 911 buyer makes 600 grand a year, right? So he doesn't need an orange car, lava orange or Miami blue to call attention to himself. He just wants the best. And the best certainly would be the Turbo. And, you know, I think for argument's sake, the Turbo S. Now, are ceramic brakes overkill for the street? They absolutely are. But at these speeds, you're probably going to want ceramic brakes. Not the speeds we're going to go today, but if you were driving this car, you know you're going to open it up on the highway. I love the yellow seat belts on this car, which you'll see through, and I love the yellow tachometer. What I love about the 992s is all the gauges are digital now, except the tachometer is still analog. All right, so let's pull over and go over the car. 992 Turbo S, and just looking at it, how can we tell if it's a Turbo S? It looks like any other 992, right? Because they're all wide bodies. Well, first of all, the Turbo S has come standard with center lock wheels and ceramic brakes. How can you tell ceramic brakes? Besides looking at actually the condition of the brakes, the rotor itself, it has the yellow brake caliper. So yellow is ceramics, red is steel on the S, and black is steel for the base models. And you can see those center lock wheels. Now, we drove a 992 Turbo, not a Turbo S, and those are optional if you want the ceramic brakes. Now you can still hear, we drove here obviously, so you can still hear the fan of that engine. Our spoiler is up, which is, where is it? Actually, it's always up on the Turbo, right? Yeah, I think correct me if I'm wrong in the comments. No, it looks like it comes up, I think as you go faster, it gives you a different degree of lift there. Special thanks to DCH Montclair Acura in Verona, New Jersey, for providing the car. As always, they always have about 80 Glen cars in stock, everything from 992s to Lamborghinis, McLarens, and stick shift sports cars. You can get a good look at how huge these rotors are, especially the brake calipers in front here. Amazing size here. Now we'll go in, we'll look on the inside. I believe the Turbo S, as I said earlier, has the full leather. You have, I think this is a gorgeous spec with the yellow piping and, of course, the yellow seat belts. That's not why you buy a Turbo S. You can make it look fancy all you want, but that's not why you buy the car. And it has this sunroof, so just like mine. So this could be a glass roof or body color. The problem is it only goes back this far, so I don't know if that's worth it. You only have an opening this big. I've used my sunroof maybe once. So let's get inside. Got some nice upgrades here. Carbon fiber mirror. Basically everything on a Porsche is optional. Again, I love the piping here. So let's start the car. So it actually has the permanent key. So I could just keep this key in my pocket, which looks like any other Porsche key. My key is very similar in my 2017 base Carrera. You have the Bose, which is the optional stereo, and then you have a Burmeister, which is like even a higher option, I think like $5 grand or something. So I always just could put it in my pocket. I'll put the key in the cup holder since it's not my car and this car is for sale, which you could buy. Then we'll use the permanent key to start it here. And it sounds good. So to take off the parking brake, you just press this down. So it's all electronic now, like almost every car. Up to put it on, down to release it. You got heated and cooled seats. So today, well, maybe we'll even try the cooled seats since it is a hot day. We can adjust the steering wheel here. This car, you know, obviously it's for sale, so it doesn't have the settings that I would have. So underneath, I can go forward and back, and it's also electric that I can move it forward. So on Porsches, the tradition are these five, I think that's the cooled seats there. That was the noise you heard, the cooled seats. You have the 5 round dials, which are traditional, like my 993 Turbo had. The problem is, in any of the modern Porsches, is you can't see more than 3 if you're lucky. So what they did, the speedometer tradition also goes by 25. So every mark here you see is 5 miles an hour. So if you were going 55 or 35, it's a little hard to gauge unless you have very good eyesight, but remember the steering wheel blocks that too. So my favorite, even though these are all digital, 4 out of 5 are digital, is the 5th one in the middle, the most important one, the big center tack that 911s have always had, is analog and shows you your miles per hour. You used to have to go through settings on other ones to do it. I think this is the standard setting now. If you bought a Boxster or a Cayman, you only have 3 circular dials, not 5. So that's another difference that you can tell. So to go into manual mode, you actually have to press the manual button. We have to be in drive first to do it, and then we can press the manual mode. I'm going to put it in park. Let's check out the backup camera. So we'll put it in reverse. This is that little bronze shaver here. Now you can get the S, not a turbo or turbo S or a base, but you can get an S or a GTS in stick, and that's probably the way I would spec it personally. These buttons here are to open and close the sunroof. It would also be buttons for the convertible. You have heated and cooled seats here. These are your radio controls, HVAC. So you do have hard buttons for HVAC. It's a hot day. We can get on some temperature here, no problem. It's automatic. This is your sport exhaust button, and see how, so let's do that again. See, it's quiet. Let's listen. The air conditioning's on too, so you're gonna hear that. So quiet exhaust, and then right now, loud exhaust, or louder, right? Now, if we put it in quiet, and here's our different modes. So normal mode is, I call it comfort, but it's normal mode. And then you would go in sport, that automatically puts on that sport exhaust, and then sport plus. And it looks like this has a front nose lift, which is nice. And then this is your hazards, and that's if you want to take off your stability traction control. Why you would do that, I don't know. You can shut off the start stop, right, by pressing that. So is that shutting it off or no? One of them is off, one of them is on. We're going to find out because we're going to drive it in a minute. All right, so what are we doing here? Let's just drive. So your mirror controls are down here, which you can adjust. You can go up and down with the power windows. Your seat memory is here, but your seat adjustment is actually where you would think it would be. And if we open the door here, we're going to have to unlock it, I guess, because this is your front trunk, and that's your rear engine compartment. There's not much to see on the engine. All right, so you know what? We're in a Turbo S. Why aren't we driving? Let's not waste your time. All right, so we're going to drive now in manual mode, and we're going to go in Sport Plus. So we should have, somehow, I think this seat was set for a shorter person, so I'm going to adjust the mirrors here, and I feel like I'm a little too close and a little too upright, to be honest. All right. Now you can hear that growl there. Adjust the mirror. You can see the spoiler up there. This is probably one of my favorite cars. I know I'm lucky enough on this channel to review 900 cars and every exotic you can name, but my still favorite are the Porsches, because they're just so good. You turn the key. It's not like my McLaren that had 100 dead batteries and the battery costs $2,000. This is a Porsche. It'll just run. You want to drive from where I am in New Jersey to California today, you could do it and you'll be just fine. Now we're also today, also filming a 2007 GT3. So that's a 997.1 with a flat 3.6 and manual transmission. Can't wait to drive that. Wanted to drive those years ago, and should have bought one. I mean, I've driven them, but I should have bought one. But hindsight's 2020, right? All right, so this is a rough road. So now we're definitely in a sports suspension too. Besides having the loudest exhaust and the most aggressive throttle, I definitely feel the difference here. So just right now, I'm going to tone it down and put a normal mode, and now everything is quieter, smoother. This is how, you know, the doctor or lawyer or whoever's buying this car is probably going to drive most of the time, because a Turbo or a Turbo S or any 992, to me, since they've grown in size, are daily drivers. Now, we're still in manual mode, so we haven't taken the fun away. And we're going to go through my favorite road up here, and we're going to put that now back. Now listen for the auditory. We're going to put it back in Sport Plus. So Sport Plus. Now it got louder. The exhaust is on. And this car is fast. I mean, this car, I think, is 2.3 seconds, 0 to 60, according to Motor Trend. The Turbo that we drove is just a couple ticks slower. I think about 2.5, give or take. Now, of course, that's using launch control in perfect conditions, but Porsche's times are pretty conservative and repeatable. So I have no doubt. So we're going to second for this turn. Now watch how flat this car stays in this turn. So we're taking this turn, not at a crazy speed, but still about 40 miles an hour. And you see, like, there was no roll. And Porsche horsepower, the reason they say Porsche horsepower is the traction, that horsepower actually gets to the wheels. So this is an all-wheel drive car. And now we could probably accelerate here. All my camera stuff went all over the place. but it moves, this car. Jersey Turnpike or the Parkway, you're not going to have trouble passing them. I don't care if the other person is in a 720S, Ford GT, GTR. Don't worry, you're not going to have trouble passing them. All right, but it's a very livable car. So again, we'll put it back in normal mode. Sport is probably the best of both worlds, but when we're doing a 20-minute test drive like this, we should do the more extreme levels, which are normal, which is a very... so this has built-in radar. So Tim was right. Tim, you were right. This is built-in radar. So, all right, KA is the real deal. So, all right, so now we're driving in normal mode. We're having PDK in automatic mode. And we were in 6th gear just a second ago at 30 miles an hour. Now I had to accelerate a little bit to catch up with traffic, and it put us down to 5th. So PDK is really telepathic. It's probably the only dual clutch transmissions I like. I'll tell you, there's a couple of them. And of course, I still prefer a manual, but these cars aren't available in a manual. So my favorite is, we'll stop at this light, I'll tell you. Actually, while we're stopped at this light, let's do a subscription break. Remember, subscribe, like, and share. All that stuff is free. So subscribe and hit the notification bell, because I know some of you don't get every video. And the only way you get every video is to hit that notification bell. Sometime if you miss one of my videos, whether on purpose or accidentally, YouTube, that algorithm won't send you the next one. So just remember that. Let's doing Sport Plus. Oh, there's even a wet mode. I forgot about that on the 992s. So what I like the best for the dual clutch transmissions would be Porsche, McLaren, and Audi, and probably in that order. I think the McLaren 720S is phenomenal. But the newest PDK and the 992, I think, beats it. Every time I go in a McLaren, I say, no, the McLaren beats the Porsche. But then when I get back into a 992 PDK, I say that the Porsche beats the McLaren. Now, the Porsche PDKs have always been state-of-the-art, but if you drive a 2016 or 2012 or 2009, you'll certainly see the difference. But at least for the 992s today, before they come out with a better one in the 992.2, it's probably the best. All right, so let's see. We're in automatic mode. Let's see if I downshift in this paddle. Yep, so it'll let you do manual downshifts, but after a certain amount of time or seconds, it will put you back into the automatic mode. And again, the reason you buy a Turbo S is you really have essentially an all-weather supercar. This is a car you could put snow tires on and have no problem. There's so much traction in these cars, you would have absolutely no problem driving this in the snow. Now, the all-wheel drive isn't really there to get you through the snow. It's really there to get the traction down from all this horsepower. Now, we're also driving in, like I said, in 2007 GT3 today, which will also be for sale. So again, special thanks to DCH Acura in Verona, New Jersey. They always have about 80 Glen cars in stock. Let's see if I can get over here. All right, guys, so that's our review. I wish you had more time, but I think I have a showing today. This guy doesn't know what he's doing. He's on the wrong side, crossing the double yellow. Damn. Don't look at your phone. She was looking at her phone. That's why she crossed the double yellow. All right, so I wish I had more time with this car, but I don't. I think I'm going to have a showing today, and I want to do the GT3 as well. So thanks again for watching, guys, and I will see. This is my dream car. Now, do you need a Turbo S? No. If you want the best, get it. If you want to save yourself probably 50 grand on the newer used market, I think you'd be fine with the Turbo. Me, my money, I would probably just get a base, because that gets me in the 992. I could always modify it. All right, guys, thanks again for watching, and I will see you next time.